Karen, I assume that's Karen Dalton. It looks like you're having trouble connecting the audio. Can you hear me now? Oh,
I do.
okay, great. It said connecting to audio for longer than usual, so I wanted to make sure.
It wasn't time yet, so I didn't click on it.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure you weren't having trouble.
Yep, nope, I'm
Okay.
here.
Great.
Randy's here too. He's just on the other side of the table.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when it comes time, just flip it over to acknowledge that he's here.
Okay.
So you
I'll
got
probably-
oh, go
I
ahead,
probably have
sorry.
a few board members that will be on as well.
Oh, sure thing, yeah. Like I said, next week, obviously, is the zoning board, and so
Right.
I will, I'll send you the agenda for that with the link to get on.
Yeah,
for
did
that
you
as well.
send that? Did you send that to the attorney as well, by any chance?
I replied all to your last email.
Okay,
So I don't know if it went to the attorney or not. I have not sent out the zoning board agenda to you yet, just because I didn't want there to be confusion getting onto this meeting.
okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Tanya's on my board.
Hi, Tanya. Nice to meet you. I'm Mike Antonellis. I'm the town planner.
Hi, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Julia.
Hey, what days are you at town hall during the week?
Soon I will be there Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
So I'm kind of on and off Thursdays until July, in which case I will be there Monday through Thursday.
Hey, Warren.
Okay.
Hello, how's my voice sound?
Deep.
Deep, okay.
Sounds beautiful as
because
always.
I had to get out and get back in because it tested as Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Oh, hi, Helen. You're muted, Helen.
Trying again. Hi, Mike and everybody.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you? It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Hey, how is the gang?
The gang is well.
What do
Josh
you-
is living in Texas now, loving life.
Tanya, you're an interested public person?
No, I'm on the board of Dare to Dream.
Okay,
I mean, not that I'm not interested, but
I don't mean, yeah.
Tanya's son Corey passed away almost a year ago from complications from his PTSD.
he's behind me, if you can see.
I'm so sorry, Tanya.
Thank you. That's what got me into Dare to Dream. So
Mm-hmm,
it's kind of a blessing in disguise, I guess.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And let's see, Chris Rowe, are you an interested party?
Yes, I am. I'm a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer.
Uh-huh.
I'm the Woodworking Program Director for the ranch, and I am now currently also the President of the organization.
I don't think I need to put all that down, but yeah, good to know. And Elizabeth,
Hi, I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Dynamic Learning.
and just in case you are wondering why I'm so nosy, I'm the secretary, so I try to get down who is in attendance and what your association is.
Anthony, we have everyone is present who's going to be here from the board. So whenever you're ready.
1 second.
Yep.
Everybody's here. Called meeting to order on June 2nd, 2021 at
I've got 7:03.
7:03. We'll have a roll call. Helen?
You bet. Mike Carpenter. Hello, Mike.
You're muted, Mike.
Oops. I see you, Mike. Let's see, Warren,
Present.
David.
Here.
Hi, David. George.
Hi, how are you?
Gotcha. Anthony and
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
Okay, so we're 6 of us tonight.
Is that everyone?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
We have the minutes from the last meeting.
April.
Approval of minutes, April 7th to May 19th.
I think that what that meant was April 21st and May 19th. Is that right, Michael?
Let me check the agenda, just to make sure I wrote the correct minutes on there.
I think we approved the minutes of April 2nd a couple of meetings ago.
Yeah.
The
And-
agenda says the 7th and
Oh,
9th.
yeah, my apologies then. Yeah, no, we had already approved those. I meant to change that to the last. Well,
To the-
we'll get that at the next meeting. So we'll table that one.
Oh, okay.
Because yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys already approved that one.
Okay,
No, wait,
No, we didn't.
because
We
you
skipped
didn't.
it.
Yes, you
Mhm.
have not
We-
approved that one.
Yeah, we skipped April 21st because we
That's
were
right.
having the
Yeah,
meeting with the
please.
planning board.
Sorry.
So did you, do people feel comfortable approving them or do you want to table them again?
I have no problem approving them
Okay.
if there's no mistakes or anything on there. No sense of dragging it out.
Okay. Warren will make a motion to approve the minutes of April 7th.
April 21st, Warren, okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. April 21st. Crossed it out and made it.
The,
as
the,
21.
No,
the,
it's
the
April
7th.
Oh, no, it is the 7th.
Yeah.
It is.
No,
the
it's April 21st. We
Table,
approved,
table the minutes. Table the
Yeah.
minutes, do it the next
Okay.
meeting.
all right,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
So be it.
that's much better.
Motion withdrawn.
Thank you. We have a special use permit recommendations to the zoning board of review, 12 Snagwood Road, plot 13, lot 36. The applicant is Dare to Dream Ranch. The owner, Randall Bagwell, seeks a special use permit for lodging, guest house, or bed and breakfast. Use number 7 under the residential uses, section 3819, the town of Foster Zoning Ordinances. The applicant proposes to create a temporary housing for veterans with the addition of a 1-unit building to be located on the premises. We have anyone here from, I guess, from Dare to Dream Ranch? There's a number of yous here.
Yes.
Some of them on,
Yeah, you have Karen Dalton. She's in the top left of my screen. And then with Karen is Randall, who's the property owner.
you, I guess you can bring forth, tell us what you want to do here. Obviously,
So,
for the members that don't know.
so for those of you that don't know, Dare to Dream offers alternative therapy programs to service members, veterans, and their families. Adding to those programs, the Center for Dynamic Learning is teaching inner city at-risk youth building and engineering skills, taking 8x40 shipping containers and turning them into 100% sustainable tiny homes. They've been in the news. They would like to drop those here for our veterans to stay for a year or two to save money and participate in our program. So what we have found is that veterans that are above poverty are not able to access help for homeless situations, divorces, transitioning out of the military, so forth, where they have jobs and they have income coming in, but finding themselves in a homeless situation where they're staying in a car or staying in their office or staying on somebody's couch. These tiny homes would allow them to be able to save money, participate in our programs, and be able to go out and buy their own place afterwards.
Anyone have any questions for him? I'm gonna have to run the meeting and ask all the questions.
Anthony, I'll just point out, as the board is likely all familiar, the action coming from the board tonight is a recommendation to the zoning board of review. It's a recommendation based on, I'm sorry, I'm losing my words, not compliance with the comprehensive plan, but general consistency. That's what I was looking to say. General consistency with the comprehensive plan. So that's what your motion would be on tonight, is recommending based on general consistency with the comprehensive plan.
Okay, do we have any information on the size of the property? Does it qualify for accessory dwelling units? Is it over, what, 350 feet of frontage? I'm sure it has that. And
Yes.
the excess acreage for multifamily type rating?
Yeah, let me, I'm sure I have the information on the size of the lot here somewhere. It's 11.33 acres is the
Okay,
size
so
of the
that,
lot.
so that qualifies.
Yeah.
And
So
it,
where-
They definitely have at least 300 feet of frontage. I can get that information, I'm sure.
It's 536, Mike. I'm looking at the photo
Thank
that you
you.
sent out.
Yep.
okay, so it's 350 or over.
Yep.
All right, so that would qualify it under the more than one residence or multifamily. The zoning board can decide if that has to be attached or detached. The program would obviously have it detached. So that would be consistent with zoning and, or.
That would be for zoning to decide.
Yeah,
Warren.
that would be for them. I mean, but within our zoning ordinance, there are calculations that they can run when they grant that special use.
I see what you're saying, Warren. Yeah.
I think what we need to first realize, this is not, and don't take this the wrong way, it's admirable what you guys are doing. It couldn't be done for a better reason. But this is not about the veterans. So you understand that. This is about housing and the laws and the zoning that there is in Foster. Granted, veterans are going to be living in it, but it's not what we're here for the veterans type of thing, just so you understand that. Now, the questions I have, it's really a Connex box that they're going to be living in that's been remodeled. Is that correct? 8 feet
Yeah,
wide.
I'll let Elizabeth talk on that, please,
Where's
on what it is. Center for Dynamic Learning will tell you exactly what it is.
Where's Elizabeth?
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are. I'm sorry.
Hi. The unit itself is an 8x40. It's been completely rehabbed and following the recommendations that we've received from a variety of different building inspectors along the way from doing the program. It has a full bathroom, a full kitchen, a bedroom setup. It's handicapped accessible. Oh, sorry, I have a dog that's unhappy. Many of the articles that are in the newspaper actually show pictures of the inside of the house itself. When you step inside of it, it actually looks like you're inside of a log cabin. It has the appropriate insulation. It absolutely can handle the snow load given the type of unit that it is, to be appropriate for all 4 seasons. One of the things that both Karen and I are working on right now, or are in discussions with and trying to receive further information from the building inspector, has to do with the type of heating system. So that will be necessary to use. Originally, when it was in Providence and we were working with Providence, they were fine with the pellet stove, and that was the recommendation. We're just trying to work with the town of Foster to find out on your side of things what type of heating system will be acceptable.
I think it goes a little beyond that. You're saying there's running water in a bathroom in
So
there?
it's completely off the grid. So the water itself, so everything is run based on solar packs. So there are solar units on top of the unit itself. The water itself is set up where the water does work, but everything comes out of a tub that would be outside, so that they would have to hook up So that's the sense of it being off the grid. No, it's not hooked up to sewer. No, it's not hooked up to anything like that.
So where does it go?
It goes into a it's a catchment container. Everything gets filtrated.
I know, I need a little more explanation than the bathroom goes into a tub.
Well, it's a self-composting toilet. So I'm waiting for the engineer to get here. I wasn't expecting for me to be talking. I was expecting Kevin to be talking.
Well, I'll just jump in to say that everything is going to have to comply. You know, they're going to need local building permits to erect the structure, so they'll have to work with the interim building official to work those things out and to get a building permit that satisfies those requirements. So just in the interim until their engineer can answer those questions and fill that in.
David, you got a question?
Yeah, how many units are they gonna put in? How many tiny houses?
Right now, we're starting with one, and whether or not how this goes will depend on whether, with the idea is that we add one more to for retreats, not for long-term stay, but for veterans coming in for a 5-day retreat would be the second one.
Oh, okay.
The application currently is for one
Right,
unit though.
right.
Yes.
So
Okay.
if we decide to move forward, depending on how this goes, will depend on whether or not we decide to apply for a second one.
Okay, thank you.
But this is
Good,
for
good.
one right now. Let's see how it goes.
I was going to ask a similar question because I had read a nice article on Rhode Island News today. And it says, you know, everything over, so Dare to Dream achieved their expansion goals, including an indoor riding facility, so their clients don't have to endure New England weather or cancel their sessions due to cold, and then turn their house into a bed and breakfast facility. They also plan on adding rooms for events, want to buy surrounding land to expand their programs and build more tiny homes. And I love the program, everything that's going on. My only concern again is how many tiny homes are we talking about in the future? I know you said you're looking at one now, and what's that going to look like? Is it going to be a compound?
So the indoor facility, I had already met with a previous building inspector, which is no longer there, had already designed where it was going to be.
Yeah,
Gilbane was going to build it, but cost of expenses, it's not happening at the moment. This tiny home scenario just came about to us. It was brand new. They're teaching the children how to do this, and they said, we'd love to drop it here. And that's where the process started back in, I don't know, February. And we've been, trying to move forward with that. And yes, I mean, we've talked about expansion and where are we going, and people want to know, like, what are you trying to do? And as we move forward, obviously we'll apply for different things that we want to do. Like, I'd like the original house foundation that's out front. It's the original house, the foundation's still there. I'd like to turn that into a gift shop. But those are things that we would like to do to be able to help our veterans. But obviously we'll move forward as we go forward. We'll do the appropriate, building permits and things like that.
Your plan is great, and you need a plan to have a plan. My concerns with this Connex box, what's the outside of it look? Is it still a metal box?
Yeah.
It's actually quite gorgeous. So if you guys have access, you can look up Shea High School builds tiny home for veterans, and it's a full video of what this looks like. It's a gorgeous container, like it's a container, but it's painted. It looks nice. The whole inside looks like a log cabin. It's gorgeous.
That's the inside, but we see the outside is what's exposed. That's
so
what,
it's a painted. Yeah, I mean, if you look at a steel building, right? We have steel buildings all over the place. We have steel garages. We have steel. It's a steel building. It's painted. It looks nice. And it's in the center of my property where nobody from the road is ever going to see it.
The questions I have also is you kind of made an Indian. What's to stop the rest of the people or anyone else in the town of Foster, okay, that, and again, if I had the money, I'd build them a cottage, which is what they should have, or a wooden log cabin or whatever. I would donate that if I had the money. But what is to stop the town of Foster and other people to walk in here in front of the board and request a bed and breakfast like we're doing here, or a guest house like we're asking for here, and stop putting up Conex boxes that are just decorated on the inside? Okay, and before you know it, it kind of like what you made a statement, and they want to drop it here. Before you know it, it's going to be dropped here in Foster everywhere. That is my only concern, is where does this end up going? It's a great idea for you guys, but what happens to the rest of the town with the comprehensive plan that's moving forward? Those are my concerns. There are 5 other members on the board. They can give you their concerns or whatever, and then it'll go to a vote.
So on that, we are already approved. I've already gone through the town. I already have a special use permit for being called a day camp and doing what we do. This just adds another level to what we already do. So if somebody's going to go through the whole special use permit aspect of it, and they're going to, like, you know, we've got a campground, you know, people have to go through the process to be able to add things to their property.
But
Right.
Correct, but the minute we allow one in one place, it sets a precedent for other people to come in and do the same thing. All of a sudden, the motel that has little houses turns Conex boxes into little motel houses because we allowed it here. That is my concern. Okay, I mean, and please, and it's like I said, this is not about the veterans. It's not about the camp. It's not about little kids. The program is fantastic. I've been following it. I think it's awesome. It's just where we going with this.
So inside the chat area, I put the story from Channel 10 News, which is a video, which allows you to see the inside and the outside of the unit. That will answer some of the questions that you have regarding what it actually looks like. Additionally, Kevin Cunha, who is the Director of Career and Technical Education, has made it from his prior appointment to be here. So he can answer any questions about the off-the-grid component.
So I'm looking forward to talking to you all. Hi, how you doing, guys?
Okay.
All right, so what do you need to know about this tiny house? And just so you know, by the way, it is my expectation that this house is going to make its way to Foster. It's going to make its way to Dare to Dream Ranch, and I'm going to expect that you guys are going to work with me on this. If not, because I've tried to reach out to your building inspector, I've reached out to your council, I've reached out to everybody. I've had nothing but difficulty from all of you. You've been absent this entire time. So I'm going to tell you right now that it's my expectation that you'll work with me, because I'm working with the state building inspector on all of these. And I just got certified today for all of my tiny houses. So I want to know what your questions are so I can specifically answer each person. And I want to know each person's name that asked that question, so I can individually answer your question. And I'll actually bring that to the state building inspector's attention. So please let me know who wants the first shot.
You bringing this with an attitude?
I'm sorry, who are you?
My name's Anthony Renzi. I'm the chairman of the board. Are you bringing this with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder or something?
I'm bringing it with a big chip on my shoulder because I've contacted your office multiple times. I've tried to talk to your building inspector multiple times. You guys fired a building inspector or lost a building inspector. I've reached out to him 17 different times and I've gotten no responses whatsoever. And you're the person responsible for his actions.
I'm the person.
I want to know who your boss is.
I don't have a boss, my friend. I'm a volunteer.
Awesome. Well, then we need to talk to the people of Foster about you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to accomplish a goal. So let's tone it down a little bit, please. And try to accomplish this goal.
Nobody's telling me to tone anything down.
Kevin.
Okay. I'm going to call this meeting over. It's my prerogative. I'm the chairman of the board. This meeting is over. We'll discuss this another time. You can put this application forward. You can talk to your friend there, Karen, and we'll go through.
It's fine, that's fine. That's just, you know, sir, just so that you know, I'm gonna contact the Providence Journal. I'm gonna contact Channel 10 News. I'm gonna let them know exactly. I have all of my correspondence proved that I've contacted all of your staff members and that nobody has responded to me.
Okay, first of all, what's your first name?
My
What's your
name is
first name?
Kevin.
Kevin. First of all, we are the.
I
planning
want
board.
to get along with you, sir, but
No,
I'm not
you're
going to
starting off on the
tolerate
wrong foot.
anybody getting aggressive with me.
Kevin, let me explain something to you, okay, so that you understand. Okay, we are not the town council. We don't hire or fire anybody. We make recommendations, okay? We answer to no one. Okay, we're all volunteers here. We don't get paid. I don't have a boss, never had a boss, and I won't have a boss. Okay, and I'm not gonna have somebody coming in here, okay, and getting on me for something I don't even know about.
Well,
Okay?
you should.
so-
Well, you should know about it, sir. I don't mean to be disrespectful.
You're being very.
I've reached
disrespectful.
out to your town council. I've reached out to your community organization. I've reached out to your community town hall, and I've asked for help from you guys multiple times. Nobody has responded to me, except for Michael, who is the only person. Michael has been an absolute. And Michael, I don't know which one you are. Raise your hand if you don't mind.
I'm right here. Well, and Kevin, while I appreciate that.
And you know what I'm talking about, Michael.
So, thank you. I don't typically like to accept compliments that are also, anyway, but thank you. Anthony, before we go forward with ending the meeting, what is required is that obviously they need a recommendation before going to zoning board, which is the ultimate authority for approving a special use permit. So rather than, and it's your prerogative, you're the chair, if you'd like
I know,
to.
just so you know, Michael, Michael, not to interrupt you. I'm gonna interrupt you. My actions should not interrupt your decision making behind Dare to Dream Ranch.
Right. So
I'm working on a tiny house. I've tried very hard to reach out to your staff, and Michael, you know what I'm talking about. I've
yeah,
done
we are currently
everything
in
my power
between
to get in
building
touch with you
officials.
guys. But I think that Karen deserves for you guys to make a decision not based on my arrogance. I think that you guys need to make a decision based on your souls, and the rule of law. And I think that you guys Karen is a really good person. She's doing really good things in your community. And I'm going to apologize because maybe I'm being too aggressive, and obviously I am. My own wife just told me that I was being a jerk. So I'm going to apologize to all of you. I have worked on this project with 30 high school kids, 30 kids that should never have graduated from high school. They all graduated today from high school. This project has been a benefit to all of them. These are kids that have ankle bracelets. They've all been in trouble. They've done bad things, and I'm giving them a chance at a second life. Karen is giving veterans a chance at a second life. And shame on me for being an ass, and I'm sorry. And I'm going to apologize to all of you now. And sir, I'm sorry that I raised my voice to you. I had a long day. I lost a relative today. I had a long day. So not that that's an excuse, but that's why I was late. Karen's
Hey, let's move
ranch.
this along.
I know. Karen's. I know. Just
I've heard enough.
please hear me. Please hear me. Karen's ranch is beautiful, and they do great things, and they change the world for people. And I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to give them a chance to be able to be there overnight, for a couple of days, whatever. I'm sorry I lost my temper. It's my fault. And please don't make a decision based on my arrogance.
All
you
right,
guys
let's-
want to yell, you want to yell at me
Anthony had a
privately? you
question
can do
about
so.
the outside of the unit. Anthony had a question about the outside of the unit. Kevin, if you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
answer
yeah.
the
And by
outside.
the way, just so you know, I'll give you guys a quick tutorial.
I don't want
So-
a tutorial, okay, Kevin? You hold on. We'll ask the questions. You give me an answer when I ask you the question. If not, I'm gonna end the meeting, okay?
Yes,
heard
sir.
your apologies.
I
I can be
understand. I'm sorry.
worse
And
than you.
sir,
You
thank
answer the
you.
questions when we ask you.
Yes, sir.
George,
And thank you for
Go right
thank you
ahead.
for giving me a second. Thank you for giving me a second opportunity to talk to you. And I'm sorry.
George, go right ahead.
I got a couple
Okay.
of questions.
So
Number
go
one,
ahead,
Michael,
guys. Go for it.
If you want to share one of my screens, I've got it up on my screen. I know how to do it with Google, but I'm not quite sure how to do it with,
I got you. I can hear you well.
I just allowed share screen, George, so you should be able to go. There should be a green icon down the center of the page that says share screen. There you go.
all right, you guys seeing that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So
Good
there's-
picture. Yep.
There's a Connex box. It does look a little like a Connex box. But, you know,
Yep. 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 Those are my kids' building. Yep. So if you can see, there's all steel. It's all steel construction. Yep. Those are waterproof flooring.
yep. All right,
I don't know what that is, but that's it's okay.
that's it at the end of the pictures, so, from the
It
channel.
it sounded to me like one of the concerns was that it's gonna look like a box on the outside. So I guess my thought would be if that's what your concern is, what can we do to make it not look like a Connex box? What would it?
Well, if you need me, if you want me, so just, you know, on the back side, so if I'm looking at the same box you are, on
Take
the
this off the
left
screen,
hand
please.
side,
Please take this off the screen.
All right, can you
is
get me
that,
off
yeah,
camera?
can you do that?
Take this, there you go.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so on the front of the box, there's French doors, there's solar lighting, so it's welcoming when you get there. There's a base, it's basically a pressure treated deck that you get there too. On the back side, there are 3 windows. On the left side, where the kitchen is, there's an extra window. So there's 4 windows in the building. The building has, it as per code, it has steel inside braces. It has R17, and 18 insulation. It has, so it's off the grid, by the way. So so the water systems don't connect to anything. We actually use, you know, those 5-gallon water, so like water cooler containers. If you take 2 of them and flip them upside down, we have these hubs that snap onto them, and that's where your water comes from. So you have drinkable water from your faucets in the bathroom and in the shower. I mean, in the kitchen. In addition to such, I ordered a hot water system from Australia, where water will come from the gutters and drop down into those, and that's where your showers come from. No, none of the water, and just so you know, my requirement, and I have a contract for the person that takes over the house. We cannot use any normal shampoo. Everything has to be biodegradable. We use only vinegar based cleaning supplies. Everything is off grid. So that way the water that runs down, it goes into a container, and we can actually feed plants with them.
Okay. Where does your gray water go? Where does your sewage go?
They go into tanks, and so at Dare to Dream, they have a septic system over in the corner, and that's where the water will go. They'll every day or every 2 days, they have to go and dump it in there.
Into the septic system?
Yes, correct.
Physically dump it into the septic system?
Physically, yeah. So I was trying to explain to Karen, these are off the grid, which means like you're gonna have to do some work. Like, this is not like, you know, at home, we go home, we take a shower, it goes down the drain, everything's good. You just go back to your normal daily life. Off the grid doesn't work that way. So the water systems have to, like, they go into a container, and at the end of the week, you have to go grab them and take them over. There's like they're on wheels, and you wheel them over to the septic system, you pour them in. All the electric inside of these systems, there's not one electrical plug inside of this unit. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's an inverter. So like, if you plugged an inverter into your car, and you plugged in like a generator from that inverter, it's the same thing. So everything is completely off the grid. It's a composting toilet.
Kevin, you keep saying off the grid.
Yes.
The last I looked, Snagwood Road is not off the grid.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Snagwood Road is not off the grid. Off the grid.
No, the
grid
unit
is in the mountains in Montana, is in Alaska.
No, you don't understand. Yeah, I understand.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm a dummy. Dave, you have a question?
No, so
Yeah, the extra, excuse me, sir, the extra gray water that's coming out and added into the septic system, isn't DEM gonna have to, you know, change it? Aren't we gonna have to change the system or something for the extra?
No, it's the same stuff that comes out of the house that goes.
I get that, but you have more rooms now.
I'm sorry?
You have an extra bedroom now. You know, your system's designed for a certain number of bedrooms. Your system is designed for a certain number of bedrooms. Okay, when you add to that, you have to change the system.
Oh, well, yeah,
You
may have to increase.
All right. Thank
So
you.
this isn't a composting toilet then, at all then, right?
I'm sorry. Anthony,
I'm sorry.
So Chris Rowe has had his hand up for a while, and then Warren has had his hand up.
I'm sorry, Chris. I didn't see your hand up. I thought you were just leaning on your hand.
No,
it's okay.
right
Go for it. What do you got, brother?
up there in the corner. Anthony, I understand you. I definitely understand your concern with looking, with looking like a shipping container, just dump, placed somewhere out in the woods. So
It's actually called a modular home. I actually just got approved by the state building inspector as a modular home builder. So they call them modular homes now.
So I guess my question would be along the lines of understanding your concern about the physical look of it from the outside. Is that something that would be
It's going to be in the woods. It's in the woods.
Is that something that would be addressed by either this committee or by the zoning committee that could say, okay, we would allow this if certain things were done regarding the outside physical look to it, so it fell within a certain set of specific requirements for its visual look from the outside. So are you understanding my question?
Wholeheartedly.
Okay.
I really do. Okay. I think what you're missing, my point, because the rest of the board has their own opinions. You opened the door to.
I probably set the wrong setup.
Hold on, I'm speaking here.
I apologize, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is that going in under the pretenses, Chris, as a bed and breakfast, a guest house, living quarters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to our comprehensive plan in the rest of the town and other people who want to do this? Okay, I understand the cause that it's for. It's a great cause. I understand there's office buildings along Route 10 that look pretty nice. They're blue and they're stacked up on each other. Okay, so I'm not naive. I'm not naive to this. Okay, and I think it's a great program. Okay, it's a great program for the kids off the street. Everything's great, but it's a Connex box that people want to make a guest house out of in the town of Foster, which has its own issues. Okay, that is my concern. I'm one of 5 or 6. Okay, so I just, I would much rather have. Now we have a septic issue, okay, which is gonna be a septic issue, and gonna have to address that. I would think the zoning board and the building inspector would address that, Michael, correct? Okay,
Yeah.
so if it meets all of that, I guess that would be that. Randall, you have your hand up there.
I was just
Well,
gonna say,
okay.
I just want to say, so if I put a container out here and fill it full of hay, that would be okay.
Is that
Temporary,
Randy?
I guess.
Right?
Is that
I
Randy?
mean,
But-
I can
but
go
don't-
up and down Route 6 and see containers everywhere.
See, that's the
Randy,
problem.
I'm so
Randy,
with you.
that's the
Just so you know,
problem.
by the way, Randy, how many people drive by your house every day?
Kevin, just hold on, please.
Okay.
Kevin,
Um,
hold on, please.
My
But you
suggestion-
understand, we're
Mr.
trying to make,
I'm
we'll
done.
make something nice out of this because
I'm
it's on my property
I'm done.
and it's going to happen to be nice. It's not going to be an iconic box. But you go up and down and see trailers and iconic boxes sitting down Route 6. You know what I'm saying? This
Absolutely.
isn't to improve Foster. And this is to get people interested in what we do out in Foster and hopefully buy property when they catch up in Foster. It's all pluses, okay? There's nothing going to happen on my property that's going to be detrimental to what I want to do or what I want my place to look like or what Karen's dreams are for the ranch as far as Dare to Dream. So, you know, if I have to build if they bring the box out here and it's got windows and stuff like that, I don't think you can find too many containers up and down Route 6 that have windows in them or French doors.
In other words, it looked more like a mobile home versus
It would
a shipping container.
That's another problem.
Which is another problem, Chris.
There's another problem.
Because they
We
don't,
don't allow.
even though we have-
It's actually a modular home.
but
it's a
we have
modular
one
home.
down on Route 6 and we have a couple around here that I've noticed the last couple of weeks in Foster. Maybe they grandfathered in or whatever. But
There you go.
not a junkyard. It's a livestock ranch that raises animals to provide opportunities for others to grow and to learn about farming, ranching, and to benefit their mental health. It's nothing to do with, I understand it. Joe Blow down the street to want to do this, but who in the hell wants to go through this crap? So it's a passion. So I'm done with that. But I'm just gonna say, I can make a hay container and make it a home, and you would never know the difference.
If
You
I,
break it in and out. I missed a couple of things, Randall. I'm sorry.
if I could just,
Actually, Tanya, actually, sorry,
But
what was it, Tanya?
I would just like to throw something out. This
ma'am.
obviously is not gone the way I think any of us wanted.
Yes,
So
ma'am. Yes, ma'am, not at all.
I know you had a rough day, but maybe it would help if you turned off your camera so we didn't see you rolling your eyes all the time and.
You don't understand.
No, I do. I understand. We've all had bad days. I got it. And I
It's not the bad day thing.
Okay,
It's a, like this,
But you're
this unit's
interrupting.
gonna,
You're being very disrespectful, interrupting. So I know Anthony wants to end it, but anything we've done in the last 15 minutes has not helped our veterans. Can't we just refocus and get back to answering questions? And, you know, Kevin, maybe you could just be quiet unless the question is addressed to you. And I don't mean any disrespect, but I'm new to this board because my son just passed away. So I want to do good and I want to accomplish something and I want to answer your questions. So is there any chance we could refocus?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I'm deeply sorry for your loss.
Okay, so Kevin,
And just so you know,
Anthony,
both of my sons also served.
thank you. Kevin, now we just asked that you be quiet, okay?
Yes,
Unless
yeah.
somebody asks you a specific question.
Yes,
Anthony,
ma'am.
can we move on and answer your questions the way the meeting started out? So that we can accomplish something tonight.
Listen, obviously he rubbed me the wrong way, which wasn't in your benefit. Okay, so we understand that. Second thing is the questions I have, you really don't understand. I'm not trying to put the kibosh on anything that Dare to Dream is doing. Okay, farthest from my mind. Okay, I think it's a fabulous idea. It's the best thing that ever happened. Okay, but there are some concerns. The concerns are what happens to us, and it's nothing to do, like I said before. We're talking about the zoning part of it, the laws and the rules about it that we have in town, nothing to do with veterans.
Yeah.
Okay, that is why we're here. Okay, you're saying temporary, Karen. What is temporary? There's a temporary building on Route 6 that's been there for 15 years that I moved here that was supposed to be a temporary building. That's what we're trying to avoid.
Okay.
Avoid, whatever.
You want me,
You know what I mean?
you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Okay, so temporary is 1 to 2 years per person. Because again, we have our veterans that are above poverty that aren't finding housing any other place. So these are respectful people. These are people going through divorces.
How many people are
transitioning.
gonna live in this Connex box?
One. It's 1 bedroom, bathroom.
Okay.
If you
So-
look at the video, it's a bedroom,
Okay.
a bathroom, kitchen, and living space.
More than one. Well, when you guys served, you used them Connex boxes. A lot of guys got in them when you
Yeah,
guys.
this is one, this 8x40 is for 1 person.
Okay, so what you just said there, this is what's starting to scare me. Okay, it's for 1 person for 1 to 2 years.
Right.
How many of these do you plan on putting on the property?
On this 11 acres, 1 full-time and 1 eventually, if this goes forward, because right now, unless this goes forward, I'm not moving forward with anything else. If this goes forward and everything works out, the second one is for retreats. So that's only people coming in, staying for 5 days, once, anywhere from 1 to 5 times a year. You have a retreat, you have people coming in, they come in, they're here for a short period of time, 5 days maximum, and they go out. They're coming from Texas, they're coming all over the country to stay here.
So we're using a Connex box as a bed and breakfast.
No, right now, aren't we just
Second
talking
one.
about the 1 box?
The
Right
second
now,
one
we're
that-
talking about the 1
Okay,
box.
so let's not talk about the
So
future.
that
let's
1
talk about
box,
The 1,
yeah, we can't move past this 1 box if we can't get this 1 box.
yeah, so let's
Anthony.
really focus on this.
Okay, Michael,
Anthony, Warren just had his hand up for a while.
go ahead.
Yeah, so to sort of summarize what Karen said, this is a permanent building for temporary occupants of 1 to 2
Yes.
years.
Which is why they changed it, because originally Michael told me I needed to go from a day camp to an overnight camp, basically
Yeah.
like a campground type thing. And then the town solicitor looked at it and said, no, it can't be an overnight camp.
All
It
right.
needs to be a bed and breakfast
Right.
style
So this
Yeah,
is,
special use
it's-
permit,
this is going to be a
Yeah.
single-family dwelling,
right?
and
Yes.
it is going to meet the building code in one fashion or another.
Exactly.
I know that somebody said that Kevin was an engineer. Is that true, Kevin?
Yeah, and if I may, I know I was asked not
I
to.
ju- I just
Just
want
answer
to,
that,
I want to
Kevin.
answer to
Yes,
that
he's an
question.
engineer.
Yeah,
first.
yes.
Are you
yeah.
a civil
That's
engineer,
correct.
structural engineer,
I'm a mechatronics engineer, sir.
a what engineer?
A mechatronics engineer, sir.
Okay, so you're not registered with the state as a professional engineer.
I'm a principal engineer, sir.
Okay, because when I look at the e-licensing ri.gov under,
No, I'm not licensed as a PE. I'm a licensed as
Okay.
as a principal engineer.
okay, so there you go. Now, you spoke with a person or persons at the State Building Commission
Yes, sir.
on the phone or in person, or because you see those letters?
Both.
Okay, because those letters up by my name, I work there, I'm the staff architect there.
Oh, awesome. I was on the phone with your people today. They were actually fantastic. Thank you so much for your guys' staff.
Okay. So the building code, when these units were being built, and I saw them on the television news, the state is a participant in the Interstate Industrialized Building Commission. This building was not built to that program.
No, not at all. Not
Not at all.
whatsoever.
Okay,
It was
So in order-
it was a test lab, sir.
right. But had you educated not the students just in hammers and nails, but in the code requirements for it?
Oh, no, it's, sir, it follows all building codes, sir.
Well, well, 17 should have been 21, but I don't know those things.
I don't know. I don't even know what you're referring to. If you haven't been in the building, I don't know what you're talking
Okay.
about.
So
So if
the-
you'd like to come for a tour, the governor's coming tomorrow morning at 9:30. If you'd like to come for a tour with
no,
him.
I can't do that.
Yeah, he's there at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow if you'd like to
okay,
come for a tour.
speaking, please.
Oh, yeah, of course. I fish it up.
Potable water is determined by the State Department of Health Water Quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your catchment and distribution system will have to comply with those standards as if you had a well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And we're using 5-gallon, basically water coolers,
Right,
5-gallon containers.
Same
for
thing.
potable.
Potability is determined by the Department of Health, not by anybody else.
Yeah, and they can come and test the water at any time.
Yep. The disposal method for the sewage,
There is no sewage, sir. There's no sewage.
there is, because the water turns into that when it passes through.
Well, it
people and
goes into a
buildings.
tank. Yeah, it goes into a
Right,
tank.
and then a system suitability will have to be made on the existing system if this is to be distributed to that system. Because the existing,
Okay.
you can shake, but if you were a PE, you would have known that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I'm just a
Okay.
dumb architect and I know that. The increase in bedrooms has to be determined by a system suitability saying the existing.
There's no bedrooms,
system is
sir. It's a
suitable
studio
or the
apartment.
existing system has to be expanded.
No,
It's a studio apartment.
So,
It's a
so
bedroom. It's an
Someone's gonna
additional
live there,
bedroom.
right?
It's an additional bedroom.
It's actually not a living, it's not a home. It's
Yes, it
a,
is. Somebody's staying there for 2 years. It's a home.
well,
Thank you.
yeah, okay.
Uh,
All right.
Okay, I don't
So-
mean to be rude, but maybe we could just let Kevin leave for a little while and we talk. And if we have any questions that aren't,
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I think
so-
that's excellent.
do you guys agree with that right now? Karen, Chris?
I'm done with Kevin. I mean,
Okay.
you
Kevin,
you guys brought him here. He's representing you people.
yeah, and Kevin, I am only the treasurer, but I would like you to leave right now. Okay, as a new board member, I hope I did not overstep, but we were getting absolutely nowhere. So my apologies. I don't know him at all. I know nothing about him, but as a new board member, I'm embarrassed by that. So I would like to offer you guys my apologies. And I hope we can have a clear slate and try to move on from this, because this is not how I expected this meeting to go. And it's not what I was looking for my son. So I apologize, Karen and Chris, if I overstepped, but can we try to answer your questions now in a civilized manner?
Well, these would be items of concern for the building official and or the zoning board.
So unfortunately, even though the way it was going about was not the best way to go about, but he is the one building these tiny homes. So I can't answer those types of questions. Only he can answer those questions.
Right.
So
Well, these are facts that will need to be addressed.
okay,
Department of Health, potable water.
yep,
DEM, on-site wastewater treatment system, system suitability, and disposal method.
okay,
The suitability of your existing system to either take another bedroom or not. If your system is analyzed and it can't accept an additional bedroom, then an alternate method or an additional system would have to be
in all
installed.
honesty, I was told it was a composting toilet, and that this is the first time I heard that it was anything would be dumped into
Yeah.
my septic. So,
A DEM has provisions for compostable toilets. You have
Yep.
an awful lot of other gray water that is not that. The electric system is going to have to be as if it were a single family dwelling. He said there's not going to be no outlets. Well, there has to be.
The way it was explained to me, it was 100% sustainable, off the grid, solar panels. There wasn't any outlets. There wasn't any electricity from the house to this. The way it was explained to me was that, you know, it would be a composting toilet.
Yeah.
The compost would be able to go into my compost pile that I currently have for the animals. That's how it was explained to me. So
when it was referred to as a modular home, all the modular homes that go through the modular home program meet the building code to the T.
Again, today's the first time I'm hearing modular home. So
modular homes aren't allowed.
Yeah.
What's that?
And modular homes are not
No,
allowed.
modular homes are prefabricated somewhere else, certified to meet the code and then delivered.
Correct.
Sometimes they are 2 or 3 put together and stacked, but not mobile homes, manufactured homes.
That's what I meant, a mobile home.
This modular homes are different than manufactured.
Yeah,
That's right, modular homes, yes.
Yeah.
The mobile home is where I could.
What they've been talking about is not a manufactured HUD home. So those are things, Karen and Tanya and Chris, that are going to be critical to giving you a building permit.
Right.
And
So
Lauren, I would suggest if the board were to make a motion tonight, and I can capture all those things in a recommendation to the zoning board so that they are also aware of those things. It's likely that any decision that comes from the zoning board, if it were to be an approval, they would capture those items as well in a decision.
Sure.
So that you would know that those are things, I mean, those are things, what Warren's talking about, you would need to get a building permit anyway.
Yeah.
But it would just be reiterated through the process.
And, you know, Michael, if our goal here tonight is to say that we've looked at it and the comprehensive plan has elements of more than a single family home on a site through a special use permit, either as a bed and breakfast or a accessory family dwelling unit or an additional dwelling unit. And that those requirements, to Anthony's concern, if I had the minimum house lot with 300 feet of frontage, if I went to the zoning board for a special use permit, I could not fit into one of those other special use permit slots. I have 20 acres with 450 feet. My property, when I bought it, I knew could take a 3-family dwelling through the multifamily with a special use permit. This property has more than the 5 acres. It has more than the frontage. So that property can qualify to go ahead with the special use permit pending our recommendation or review for consistency. Is that what we're doing, Michael? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So the technical aspects of the property are what we'd be looking at now.
Correct.
And then pending a zoning approval, then the codes have to be met for waste, for water, for quality of construction. And those are the items that would come after the zoning official to the building official. And if they're going down the wrong road with the building and they've got our approval and the zoning board's approval, they might stub their toe on some of the building issues.
Yes.
And they might need some variances from the building board of review, which is the zoning board with their hats on backwards.
Yeah, and I do, my apologies to the applicant. I mean, we have been in flux with the building official position, so that has been difficult to navigate.
it took us 8 weeks to figure out what we were doing.
Yeah.
And then we did it. And then the day of last meeting.
Yeah, this has been a
like, oh
difficult.
no, wrong thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
and just to comment on that just a little bit, I did make the board aware of that. It was the originally applying for a new day camp license. When the town solicitor was looking at that, it was her recommendation that, yeah, it doesn't really fit into a day camp. And obviously, because people are staying overnight and stuff, sure. I was thinking of it in a different context where I thought it could proceed like that. So we thought that, not necessarily guest house and or bed and breakfast, but within that use category, the first thing is lodging. And so that stuck out as being, because it's housing for veterans for a temporary stay, 1 to 2 years, to temporary, depending on your definition of temporary. Lodging is definitely a more appropriate special use permit. And we thought that afforded the applicant a little bit more protection should they be approved, and should they be, should an appeal take place based on the merits of that special use application.
And
Anthony, Helen had her hand up, unless Warren, are you
oh,
still-
just to that temporary lodging use. The 1 and 2 family dwelling code, which is what you probably should and are being built to, requires residents of 30 days or more. Hotels, motels are what they call transient use. The 1 and 2 family dwelling is a non-transient, somebody stay of 30 days or longer. I live in my house 30 days or longer. I can rent a bedroom to somebody 30 days or longer. Now that my kid is in college, I can try to make up that money by renting to my cousin.
Take some veterans in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike Carpenter, you've been listening very
Feedback.
diligently and quiet, and I've been waiting for you, buddy. You have a question?
On reconsideration, I think the mission here is to provide temporary housing. And we have a historical precedent with campgrounds. I think there's more than one campground in Foster.
Yes, there's even a clothing optional one.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
There's even a one.
I'm not.
Clothing
I'm not-
optional.
Without getting into any detail, one of the options that should be considered is utilizing that historical method of accommodating temporary residents, which is what we do at campgrounds. We invite people from other parts of the area and other parts of the country to spend time in Foster. And the history of the campgrounds has shown that that has been compatible with the comprehensive plan. Families have enjoyed camping in Foster for literally decades. I don't think we'd meet too much resistance if we possibly in the next round considered a campground type variance, special use variance, as opposed to a lodging. Because if a building sets on the ground and no matter what the design interferes with the original residence, as you can see by all the discussion, things get really complicated really fast. So perhaps initial exploratory solution to providing temporary residence might be just applying for a special use permit to allow the placement of a nice camper on the property. It would reduce investment costs, probably simplify permitting, placement, and obviously keep us from setting a precedent, which I think Anthony is rightfully concerned about. So nothing new would be introduced. The objective would be met by providing temporary housing, and the special use permit could have conditions that would provide the control over that property that would be good for the owner and good for the town. So I would suggest that we consider that camper temporary housing as an initial alternative to modular housing and or lodging and or construction that would require all kinds of approvals and commitments that it doesn't appear that anybody wants to make.
Would make it easier. George, you got a question?
I'm assuming if we're looking at this campground alternative, it would eliminate that modular home being dropped into place. You're still looking at campers where they're actually portable. Or you
So-
can hook up to a trailer and pull them out.
So this is the problem. I don't have the ordinance in front of me, but if memory serves, it's a campground because they leave. And this building would not be leaving. It would have to leave. It could not permanently stay on the property. That's why they're not eligible for a campground special use permit or anything related to campground licensing. The building could not stay permanently on the property. That's why we initially switched from the camp to this lodging portion of the ordinance.
Right.
So-
I think what Mike was specifically saying was if this doesn't pan out as sort of like it.
I think it would require a change to the zoning ordinance.
Oh, okay.
I think if we're gonna do it that way, it might require a change to the zoning ordinance unless they are gonna say, we're gonna put a camper on here
That's
for
what a
6 months and then
but-
leave.
Julia, that's what a special use permit is.
Right, but the way that it's currently written, you can't allow for a permanently
We-
located
We can
camper.
we can make it happen. That's what the planning board is for. Okay, this is a 501c. This is a veteran assistance program. We need temporary housing for veterans. We obviously have a little bit of latitude in terms of how we present this to zoning. Conditions can be applied to the special use permit
Right.
that limit our commitment and still provide Karen with what she needs to accommodate the veterans without introducing any complicated permanent requirements. I listened very carefully to the concerns, and I also listened very carefully to the mission that Kevin had. And when you have dedicated people that are trying to serve veterans and serve, disenfranchised young people, they get very emotional. All we need is temporary housing for veterans. And the initial step, limiting to historical issues about our acceptance as a town. Remember, we are a town. We represent the people in the town. We all enjoy having people come here to camp and have for many decades. So we're not shocking anybody with a different type of development. I think Anthony's concerns are valid. Unfortunately, in our town, if we approve something that has a financial advantage, someone else is going to try to mimic that in a less responsible way. So let's try to think about allowing a camping extension, accommodating it with a conditional special use permit, and presenting that to zoning and giving them something to work with.
My only other concern would be that it wasn't advertised as a camping extension, which would violate the OMA. So they would have to then either reapply or wait for different advertising for the zoning board.
I think you're trying to peel this onion a little too much. What Michael's trying to say, Karen, or to anybody else, and it doesn't have to be zoned as a campground or whatever. If we gave you a special use permit to put a camper out there, okay, a fifth wheel camper, whatever camper out there, it eliminates a whole lot of the other stuff you have to go through by putting this modular home there, okay, by having a camper there. I myself, I told you the mission's great. It's just, you just got to open up Pandora, and Randall had the answer, made the statement that I'm afraid of. Look up and down Route 6. Okay, that's the answer that everyone has in the town of Foster. It looks like this, we can do whatever we want. And that's not what we're trying to do, okay? Take a look, everybody's answer in this town is, well, look at the other stuff, the broken window thing. His window's broken, mine's broken. We just want it to look right, and we want it to meet the purpose. That's all I'm looking for. I don't know what everybody else is looking for.
So this is a high end. So, I mean, again, if somebody builds, I went right now to try and build a wooden barn compared to a steel barn. This looks just like if I went and filled out an application to build a steel barn, right? You still have to have the building permit. You still have to go through all the same requirements, whether or not my outside of my building looks steel or my outside of my building is wood. It's still painted. It's still well taken care of. It's still maintained well.
Okay.
It's not going to be a detriment to our
Okay, then
town.
what you're gonna have to do, Karen, what you're gonna have to do is exactly what Warren said. You're gonna have to get the building permit, you're gonna have to meet the sewage, DEM, you're gonna have to
Right.
meet septic, you're gonna have to meet all those things.
Right.
And what Mike is saying, you don't have to meet any of them.
So we also, I mean, again, we started this months ago, right? So it was like March. We said we can put this on wheels. If you want to call it a camper, we can put it on wheels so you can move it out, move it back in. We threw out all kinds of options. Nobody was working with us. It really has been very difficult to even get to where we are tonight.
I hear you. I understand.
Still, the question at hand tonight is the special use permit that's been advertised, which is for the lodging. And the planning board needs to make a recommendation to the zoning board that it is in keeping with the comprehensive plan. So, I mean, we can incorporate the discussion into that recommendation. We can capture Mike's comments, we can capture Warren's comments. But how do you want to proceed from here?
Julie,
George.
can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead, George.
If any decision is made or any recommendation is made, can we put a stipulation on it that it is for the veterans only, for the camp only? And should the property change hands, should the camp, the veterans program move out, then everything is done. It reverts back to a standard residential agricultural zoning. Because if in the future we do put some of these trailers down, so to speak, and something happens in the future, it doesn't look like it is because there's a lot of obstacles zoning wise and sewage rise and septic that you have to overcome. But if something like that was to happen, my concern would be when this property changes hands, you've got yourself a compound, and that's, that could be very dangerous.
So
I'm sure we can put that in as a recommendation.
I think so. Julia, do you agree that we can do some form of that?
Yeah, if you put that in as a recommendation, it brings it to the zoning board, their attention, because they're the ones that ultimately issue the special use permit.
Yes.
And they're allowed to put what limitations on it that they want, so long as they're not discriminatory under basic federal law. And that would not be discriminatory under basic federal law. So you can make that recommendation make that part of the recommendation if that is a concern for you.
Julia, you said that would not be discriminatory.
It would not, because the federal list is based on race, sex, sexual orientation, that type of stuff, and it's not that.
Title VI stuff.
And
correct. It's based on the business. It's based on it being a nonprofit specifically for veterans.
Would that address Anthony's concern that that this could then be emulated all over the town? That
to an extent, yeah.
I think it could help. That being said, there are properties that people are putting mobile homes on without approval. So, legally it would protect the town. Whether or not people fall in line with it is a different story.
Mobile homes are pretty restricted.
You're not allowed to put up mobile homes anymore. And I do not believe you're allowed to permanently live in trailers anymore.
You wouldn't have to, okay, in your stipulation, George, you wouldn't have to put that it's for veterans or whatever. Just all you would need to do is this property, when this property changes hands, those mobile homes go. You don't have to stipulate
Well,
what's in there or anything like
it
that.
can't just be the property's changing hands because
Correct.
Randy owns the property, but the Veterans Data Dream Ranch is functioning the property, right? They're using the
Right,
property.
so I actually have a 100-year lease, even though, because as a nonprofit, I needed 30% down to be able to buy it. He, as a veteran, we bought it, but we run it. So, I mean, if something happens to me, something happens to him, it comes to me, something comes to me, my board is responsible for running the facility.
Right, it's just gotta be a legal thing. Say you guys decide to move Data Dream out to a different facility. I know that's not likely because it's you guys, but we have to protect ourselves legally from any things that may happen in the future, and we have to be, too many of these not protecting yourself from may happen in neighborly deals gets the town in trouble. So we have to protect the town from any future issues. Like Anthony said, and everyone here, if we truly believe in what you're trying to accomplish, I think there's not one of us who doesn't agree with it, doesn't love it, but we still have to we're trying to look at it from the perspective of the town, not just it's for a veterans group, it's what happens if it's no longer for a veterans group. And we have to put,
So it may be a stipulation that says, if Data Dream Ranch no longer facilitates this facility, then it the property, whatever you want to call it, it resorts back to a single home.
Just make it specific to this
residential.
applicant. If you just make it specific to this applicant, you avoid
Well,
all
there you
that
go.
complicated language.
I would suggest
Because the
that
applicant is listed as Data Dream Ranch.
I would suggest we just put some sort of general language in the recommendation, and then we'll have the zoning board actually nail down the final language that goes into the decision that places the limitations on the use. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel tonight. I mean, you can just express, I can capture what the conversation is expressing tonight, and when I write the recommendation to the zoning board.
Ranch specifically for veterans housing.
What
Okay.
I'd like to ask Warren if he feels like, I have been worrying for quite a while that this was a little premature, that there were too many questions that weren't being answered. And so, there has been a long time when I've been thinking, I don't think Karen, it's not that I don't support what you're doing. I definitely support what you're doing. It's the same thing everybody else is saying, is that you have to protect from other people, you know what I mean? And so, and protect the town. And so I'd like to know, Warren, do you feel like we have that? What do you think? Are we a little premature? Can we make a recommendation?
No, I don't think we're premature. I think that the application in front of us is specific to the recommendation for the use and the special use conditions going forward. We would note our concerns to the zoning board with the recommendation for the special use permit to proceed to them, that they consider limitations to the applicant and the leasee as it is now constructed. The concerns about what the aesthetics, the sewer, the water, the electric are all what happens after the zoning board gives an approval. Those fall to the building official's office.
And you can capture all of that in the recommendation, but just with an understanding that the recommendation itself, Warren, as you know, I'm just reiterating for other folks, that it's specific towards the consistency with the comprehensive plan. And you're not like, obviously this action tonight is not an approval of the special use permit.
This is a recommendation to the zoning board that we feel that the comprehensive plan adequately addresses the request.
Someone make a motion and Unless somebody else has any other questions.
Take it
Oh, Chris,
slowly.
Chris
Yep.
Rose had his hand up for a
So
while.
my question reverts back to one of the things that has been mentioned numerous times through this, and making references to whether something is a temporary structure or whether it's a permanent structure, and that could have a large effect on the recommendations and approvals. So I'm curious what it is that makes the difference between something being considered a temporary structure or a permanent structure, in regards to if something isn't on a, like this with this box, if it's not on a foundation that's built into the ground, if it's something that can just simply be lifted up, put it on a trailer and moved out, then that to me seems to be fall under the definition of a non-permanent structure. So that's why I'm curious what some of that distinction is.
Warren, through the chair, Warren, if you wouldn't mind chiming in on that. My first impression was that it needed to be affixed to the ground in some way. I thought if it was, had a slab or some, if it had, I'm no engineer, I'm no architect. If it had sonotubes or something that affixed it to the earth, it would not be a mobile structure. Warren, please, if you could fill in my blanks.
The dwelling structure, over 200 square feet, it needs to go to frost protection. That can happen with sonotubes. It doesn't need what everybody thinks of as a 10-inch foundation to frost all the way around. The more protection it has all the way around, the warmer it'll be underneath. But that's a building code item. Structures of this size can be supported in more than one way to frost. Even manufactured homes, when built in Rhode Island, because you might see them placed on a slab that's doing it wrong, they have to be defrost. They can be defrost on piers, or they can be defrost on walls.
So that's something that the building official.
And a temporary structure with a temporary permit is gone a year later. That's not what you want. That's not what you need.
Okay, I think that answered my question now.
And that was something Chris, I did have a conversation with Kevin when he originally called about this use. I did explain that to him, so, or at least most of what that.
Yes, you were the good guy.
Anybody have any other questions?
My only
Tanya,
one-
you had a question, right?
Yeah, the next time, can I bring my blood pressure monitor?
I think we all should be doing that throughout the course of the meeting.
Did you see my face turning red through the entire meeting?
Or a glass of water that looks like wine.
Oh, I could do that.
But like
No,
a Pinot Grigio or.
I do want to apologize if I overstepped my bounds in any way, but
You have no apologies necessary. You definitely don't have an apology necessary.
yeah, I
Okay.
just, and I texted Karen, I'm like, this is not starting out good at all. And so thank you for allowing me to throw my 2 cents in and be
don't
part of
have-
this meeting.
Believe me, you don't have to apologize. Okay, what you're doing and what you want to do is great. Okay, believe me when I tell you, I think it's great. It's just.
Unfortunately.
How do we make it work? How do we make it work?
We had
It's
an
within the
unfortunate bump
guidelines.
in the road.
Yep.
Okay, at the chair's tolerance, I will make a motion.
Warren, make it slowly, please.
Okay. The planning board moves that the application for request of a special use variance, in the board's opinion, is consistent with the comprehensive plan. Going forward, concerns should address the use to, planning board recommends that the zoning board consider limiting the special use permit application to this applicant and this leasee. And also recommend future considerations for building code compliance with water, sewer, and construction elements.
Say that last one more time.
And also recommend consideration of potable water, compliant sewage disposal, and building code compliance.
Thank you.
Second,
Do I have a second?
second.
David,
Second. Any discussion?
Yes,
Georgie, discuss it.
I would like to add specifically the verbiage that it's for veterans only, because if we just leave it, not that I think it's going to happen, but if we just leave it to the applicant and to the property, then they can rent to whoever they need to or want to. I think it needs to, it needs to be addressed specifically for the use of veterans in the verbiage. And
Who's gonna check, Judge, you're right, but who's gonna go check that everybody that stays is a veteran?
Yeah, but we need to have it in there. It needs to be there.
Okay.
Just because we're not
So
going to.
it is in my mission statement. We are for service members, veterans, and their immediate families, and that's all we work with. So service members and veterans would be staying
But
there.
I know where George is going with that, and he's absolutely right, but watch down the road.
Okay, I thought that I worded it to the property owner, Mr. Bagwell, and the leasee being Dare to Dream Ranch.
Right, but what's to
So
say
that-
that it leads to anybody else?
If it limits it to them, then that, to me, that, I thought that was the veteran's purpose.
Well, then they can do whatever they should choose if it's limited to them. If they choose not to rent it to a non-veteran, the wording is allowing it as such that it leaves it wide open.
So
right?
I respect
Now we have a
that.
convent.
I respect that, but I would be going against my whole mission statement.
I understand, Karen.
And I have a board that I have to answer to.
Well, then it doesn't matter if we put the verbiage in.
it's easy to amend a motion and just add that, and that would take care of George's concerns and everybody else's too.
And I would also, are we going to add a restriction to how many of veterans are going to stay there?
The application is for one.
Yeah.
This application is for one,
So specifically for one.
specifically for one.
So,
Okay.
so I want to clarify, if the veteran is, ends up dating somebody, that could be another veteran, you could have two veterans living in there. You know what I'm saying? One household, like they share a bed. You're going to say that they can't have, you're going to tell them in the 2 years they can't date, they can't have another person in there?
Kevin said there were no bedrooms in there. It's a studio.
Yeah, we didn't listen to
It
everything
still has a
Kevin
bed.
said.
All right.
I don't know,
It
you're
still
right, it
has
is-
a bed.
The
Anthony.
property maintenance code has a limit on occupants in a dwelling, and one of that size could technically have two people.
Okay,
And an on-site wastewater treatment system figures two people per bedroom
okay.
when they do their gallonage calculation.
I would hate to tell a veteran that they can't have a guest sleep over because the town says so.
What happens, okay, see how things happen? Okay, Karen, that's kind of cute. Veterans dating a veteran, we have two in there. The veteran dates a veteran that has a couple of kids and they
Well,
don't.
Warren just put that out there that,
Okay, so now we have-
you could have two people. I
Now
mean,
we
you
have,
just put it in there.
and now we have a family that lives in there, okay?
No, it's just
No.
Where are we going with this?
it supports two people, whether
It
it be
supports
a,
two people.
whether
Right,
it
but how do
be a
you-
husband
So
and somebody, or a man, somebody dating a woman, somebody dating, or a parent and their child. It supports only two people.
If it's limited to two, obviously that doesn't exclude guests. You know what I mean? Just like anything else, people visit folks at campgrounds and all that stuff. But as far as I don't want to say permanent residency, because there's not a permanent
Right.
residency,
Oh,
you wouldn't have more than two people utilizing the services of that unit.
Exactly.
Regular occupancy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. That's
Right.
good wording.
There you go. Chris is a landlord.
I
I was too.
I will-
Operative word there.
I will welcome and second George's friendly amendment to my motion for the limitation to veterans.
Okay. And David, do you second the amendment?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Can you read it back?
I'm going to try.
Okay,
My shorthand is pretty, so it says, Warren moved that the planning board recommend the special use permit variant, recommend that the special use I'll make it sound right, is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The planning board recommends that the zoning board make the special use permit limited to this application and this lessee. He also recommends consideration of potable water, compliant sewage, building code compliance. And then we amended it to say, to specify that this is for veterans.
Veterans only.
now let's hear from the planner and our attorney.
It sounded good to me. That's what I wrote down.
How about you,
Same.
Julia?
It's
Cool.
exactly what I wrote down.
Okay,
Okay.
can we, now Anthony, you can ask for a vote and we can all go have a beer.
I'm having shots.
I'm not doing it. Shots. All right, I'm with you.
Started drinking a long time ago.
We have a second?
We
Yes.
did.
Yep.
Got a second?
Okay, so
Roll call?
I'm going down the list. You ready? Mike Carpenter,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
David Palisi.
Aye.
I got it right. George,
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Yep, me too. So that passes 6-0. Can I just, before we head out for our shots?
Oh, you're doing shots tonight with us too, Helen?
We all meet at Helen's place.
Right?
Wait,
What-
I've got a 7-hour drive.
I thought my hour drive was long.
We skipped over the approval of the minutes of May 19th. And we don't have to go back to the minutes of May 19th. I've now lost somewhere on my desk here, but I have to ask a question because I wasn't sure. And Mike Antonellis wasn't sure. On May 19th, we established two committees with two members of the planning board each. And so I'm going to read you these because I need a clarification. We weren't sure.
And I had gotten clarification from Warren, but I left, I haven't sent those to you yet, Helen, I'm sorry.
Can I go
And
ahead?
I left those notes at the office, so I don't have them on me right now.
Okay. So
But Warren, maybe can you just,
I said Mike Carpenter moved and David Pelleson seconded the motion to form a committee to identify property ownership of properties needing remediation, blah, 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 on Route 6. And that carried. And then George moved and Warren seconded the motion to form a committee that would. What's your committee doing, George and David?
Oh, Warren.
Warren and David, sorry.
Warren, you're muted.
I think it was Warren and Anthony.
Wait,
No, it's Mike and
it's
Anthony.
Warren and George.
Oh.
We are going
Warren and George, yeah.
to compile a directory of codes and enforcement methods for property maintenance, zoning, and building to address the blight issues of Route 6 and how they can be used in conjunction.
Okay, I'm going to read you back what I've got so far. Sorry, guys. George moved and Warren seconded the motion to form a committee that would compile a directory of codes and property maintenance
Zoning
zoning for Route 6.
and building.
Zoning and building on Route 6.
Yes,
That's it.
that was it.
Okay. All right, just
Yeah,
so it
that's
knows that carried.
that's
7.
all.
Okay, so are we tabling those approval of those minutes also?
I thought we just had tabled all the minutes.
Yeah, Anthony tabled them at the top of the meeting.
Sorry.
You untabled them?
Julia, would it be okay for them to vote on the May 19 meeting minutes now, or should that be tabled to the next meeting?
They can vote on them because that was advertised.
Okay,
So they can vote on the May ones because the April ones are the ones that the date is
yeah.
different. Okay.
I need a motion.
So
make a
with that
motion.
amendment,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of May 19th.
Second,
Second,
Ellen, roll call.
Who seconded that, please?
George.
Thank you, George.
You're both lit up.
Dave.
Okay. May 19th. Okay, Mike,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
Anthony,
Aye.
you too. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
There's
Ellen.
one more item on the agenda,
Oh,
Good.
yes, there
the
is.
calendar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll meet in November, roughly.
2023.
Roughly the first one before Thanksgiving. We'll meet in person. Helen will have the cookies that night. Okay. The calendar, I guess, June, we don't have anything coming up the next one. And then the first week would be July. Why don't we just base it on, what do you have in the pipeline, Michael?
The next,
Oh, we got
next-
to do something about Route 6. That one.
July 7th.
Can I butt in again for a
That was
minute?
after July 7th.
For quite a few years, we have had one meeting a month, as also the town council is doing. But for us, it was just July and August. We didn't go as many months as town council is. But for July and August, we have had just one meeting a month. Normally, we skip the one that's closest to July 4th. Anyway, just saying.
Honorable Chair.
Okay.
Hillary and I would love to put the survey to final, to bed, I guess, so to speak, or, to finalize that. So, because then I want to work on this other thing with Warren. So if we could squeeze that in next.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second, George. Let me get my calendar.
That would be wonderful.
then the next regularly scheduled meeting was is the 16th, that in this month. And then it's July 7th and July 21st.
Okay, why don't we do, how close are you to,
We're pretty much done. What we're at now is determining what platform we want to put it online with. And we had actually had a meeting with another platform other than Google, which had some more options. And we could just purchase it for like 3 months. So it wasn't a large expense for us. And it seemed like it'd be a good idea because if we wanted to extend it, we could also extend it on a month-to-month, another 3-month basis. But we wanted to present that to the board. We also, the gentleman we were speaking with was willing to go on to a meeting and kind of do a little, a Zoom meeting, if you will, and kind of demo the product.
when can we meet in person? I know the Zoom meetings are nice, but is
I'm-
everything, when,
I'm good for going now. I'm
If-
Whenever the board's comfortable, Anthony, like you and I had discussed,
no
if-
pressure on anybody that doesn't want to do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine.
I feel comfortable meeting with the planning board. I did not feel comfortable meeting. I didn't realize that the public wasn't going to be invited, but I feel comfortable meeting with the planning board and, you know, a few people, but I'm still not comfortable meeting inside with a large group. So if planning board meetings, I feel fine about.
We won't cough on you, Helen. We promise.
Yeah, you can promise that.
Why don't can we do, let me just throw this out there. Can we do the next one in June and skip July altogether?
The only thing is, I think because July, you had per your joint town council meeting, you had, a report is due, I think on the 21st from one of those
Right.
meetings.
So we could do that one. the first
We
one.
could do,
We just do the 21st, skip the next one in June?
Yeah.
Was that okay with everybody?
you mean July? I mean, we could do, did you want to do June 16th and then July 21st, or did you want to skip June altogether? I mean, I do have to get the comprehensive plan in front of you guys eventually.
Eventually. The comprehensive police aren't going to show up this month. It's on their
All
own.
right. All right, I'll push it off.
Can we just do the 21st of July? There's
That's
nothing
fine
coming
with
in June. Is that okay with everybody else?
Can we do the June 16th and get the other thing put to bed so I can focus on this other thing with Warren? Is that all
So
right?
that, so that means we're gonna meet the 16th and the 21st and then August. So we're gonna meet, okay, whatever you want to do.
If you're okay with that?
So-
We could just do
Okay.
that. We could just do that on the agenda and just get it done.
So
Whatever you
June
want to do.
June 16th, July 21st. Sorry. And then August, like August 18th,
The second meeting in August, whenever that would be.
that's August 18th.
August 18th, yeah.
Is that good? And then we go back to our regular meetings in, wow, our first meeting in September is September 1st
Yeah, no, we'll do the 15th.
and not September 1st.
No, September 1st. I gotta go to school September 1st. That's when we go back to school, isn't it? I'm being facetious. Isn't that Labor Day weekend or?
Yes.
You're doing this on my behalf?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
Is that
so
Labor Day?
This all can change if there's a bunch of stuff that comes down, and Michael, we have to do this. If
right,
there are a bunch of things that come to the planning board that needs to be done, all of a sudden we might have to meet, like I said last year. Okay, you can put this all on the back burner and once a month, but if we get busy and there are a lot of things happening, then we're just gonna have to meet.
right. So September 15th is the second Wednesday, the third Wednesday.
Correct.
Okay, so tentatively, our,
Wait, So we're gonna do the 16th for you, Georgie, and
June-
then,
Thank you.
July 21st, August 18th, September 15th, and in October, we go back to our regular twice.
cookies and milk. We go back to cookies and milk in October. We'll meet in person and we'll have cookies and milk then.
We
Oh,
can-
we're gonna meet in person in June?
In
or no?
person on the 16th, though.
We
Yeah.
can in person
Okay.
on June 16th.
We can if you would like to.
It's up to
Yeah.
everybody if you want to meet on the 16th. I mean, I'll go and sit out outside and do it.
Yeah.
It's only gonna be us. We can go sit outside and get bit by the mosquitoes near the town hall if you want to do that.
Rather meet inside because
Okay.
will all come to me.
Whatever you guys want to do, Michael, whatever the board wants to do, I'm all for it. Just
Warren,
send me notice.
Warren,
I'm good.
you good with that?
Everybody good with that?
I'm good.
Sounds good.
We're good. Julia, you good with that?
That works for me,
Okay.
mostly because it's probably going to be Joanna. So it works great for me.
This is your opportunity. Sign her up for a bunch of stuff.
When
Okay,
when you're not at a meeting, you get signed up.
all right. What's our next move?
Our next move is to adjourn, I believe. Julia, is that
Thank
right?
Thank
All
you.
right,
It's on the
Michael,
agenda.
Michael, you're gonna send me what needs to be, what information you need before the zoning meeting, please? So that we can just have everything in documentation and not have any confrontations.
Yeah, I will.
Let me-
I'll try to get everything to you tomorrow.
Leave your engineer home.
Yeah.
What's that?
Limit your, limit the people who present.
Can't hear you. You're breaking up.
I'm sorry, I said Karen is going to limit the people who make the presentation.
Well,
Probably
he
good-
was here
probably a good
because
idea.
he's the one building it, so I can't answer the questions that you guys ask as far as the construction to
Yeah,
the
and-
container. I apologize that it was not handled in a professional manner.
And Karen,
Ned,
I just checked the contractors registration board and he's not. He should give you a GC dash 4 or 5 digit number to prove he is a builder.
Yep.
Crickets.
Well, he's not on anymore.
Crickets.
That's good.
hey, so I'm taking a roll call for adjourning. Wait, who moved to adjourn?
You did it.
Motion to adjourn.
You
Yeah.
just did.
David,
It's 8:44. And
Shots.
Yeah, shots.
Shots.
Wes Carpenter,
Aye.
Warren,
Aye.
hey, David, are you staying all night?
Aye.
Thank you.
No, I'm not.
George,
Hi.
Anthony,
I abstain.
so that is 5-0-1, Anthony.
No, he's one of the crowd.